Well, hello, everybody. This is Michael Sishan, Chief Marketing Officer here at 1Kosmos. I'm joined today by Mike Engel, our Chief Strategy Officer. Mike, welcome to the vlog. I know it's been a while. There's a lot been happening. This is a very fast-moving space. We have a new thing to talk about. It's called 1Key. What is 1Key?
Well, this is 1Key. It is a way to authenticate your users that opens up a whole new world of possibilities and usability and flexibility. So let's dive in on this thing.
Okay, well, we've talked a lot about passwordless authentication, and now we have this 1Key thing. So what does 1Key have to do with passwordless authentication, and what is it used for?
Yeah, really simple way to put it, it's a biometric authentication that you can use anywhere in the organization. So onto any workstation, so
Okay.
Mac, Windows, etc. And the idea is we've been dabbling with biometrics in the world, right? We have your face and thumb on phones now. It's registered to your device. We've had smart cards, we've had mobile authenticators, and those things work great for some environments, but there's many environments where you can't use a phone, where hardware devices cannot be given to the individuals, and we can talk about those use cases. And so instead, imagine being able to walk up to a machine and have a Touch ID, Face ID experience that doesn't come with all of the registration challenges.
This is interesting. Okay, so let me get my head around this. We started, whatever, 2-3 years ago, talking about using an app to authenticate on your mobile device. Mobile device scans a code, looks at you, recognizes you, and lets you in. Then we went to appless. Then we went to browser. And now you're introducing these new, use cases. So what are some of these environments that you're talking about where you can't use a mobile device?
Right. So mobile device is great. We all trust and love our mobile, but there's many environments where a mobile device does not work. For example, call centers. Would you want your call center agent, when you call the bank, to be able to have a mobile device, right? To be able to, it's typically they're device free for obvious security reasons. And then there's other environments where a mobile doesn't work, such as factory. You may have constraints. You may have legal reasons why you can't use a mobile. So there's this, I don't know, call it 20-30% of end users out there that can't, won't, shouldn't use a mobile device. So for them, we're proposing the 1Key as a way for you to be able to walk up to a machine, tap it with a thumb or finger, and you're logged in. Traditionally, this has been possible where you could have your thumb registered somewhere. Biometrics aren't new, but the usability has been challenging. So for example, if you get a new iPhone today, can you just pop your face or phone onto it without it doing anything and having it log you in? Right? No, of course not. So imagine if you could. Imagine if you got the new iPhone and you just linked it back to your biometrics and you were all set up, or you log in. That's the experience that we're creating today for those types of other environments.
Okay. So just to net it out briefly here, we've got a physical key. It's got a biometric fingerprint reader on it. And how does this work? I mean, there's other keys in the market. How does this work?
Yeah. So for the last couple of years, we've been using keys that are linked to a person. So for example, if I have a legacy key here and I am given this key and now it's linked to me. So the challenge with that is you now have 1Key per person. If I have 100,000 employees, I'm deploying 100,000 keys. And many of these keys could be given to somebody else, right? So it doesn't link back to a biometric. Even if it did, the biometric is typically linked to that legacy key. So it still is a one-to-one mapping. Now, what happens when you lose that? What's your fallback? Well, you go through a lengthy process of getting a new key assigned to you, having it shipped to you, and in those days or weeks, you're falling back to bad practices. So this is something you can enroll anywhere and then use anywhere. And instead of 1Key per user, it's 1Key per protected desktop.
Okay, all right. And the biometric, how is that tied to an identity, or how is it identity backed?
Yeah, so obviously my fingerprints are unique to me. My face is unique to me, my eyes and iris. So it leverages best in class biometric verification. So at the time of enrollment, I just need to verify my identity. That could be done in person, remotely. And then I register 1, 2, 3 fingerprints. And then those are kept inside my organization, right? So and the fingerprints themselves don't actually go anywhere. They're templatized, basically turned into math, and that is sent somewhere, kept in the company servers for authentication later. So walk up to a machine, verify who I am, enroll, and I'm done.
Okay,
Now I go to any one of 20,000 workstations or kiosks or whatever it would be, do that same process, tap, and I'm logged in.
okay. So the registration process, you said you verify your identity. That can be any number of things, right? I mean, you could with self attest, your identity. You can prove it with a driver's license, passport, however much rigor you want behind that identity proofing, you can apply it. And then you tie that to the fingerprint, the biometric.
That's right. Yeah, you could. So for your existing employees, we kind of trust our existing authentication today. Let's say I have username, password, MFA, I have all this legacy stuff. It's okay, right? We know the bad guys are working on hacking that, but companies trust that many times a day across their thousands of employees. So what we do is we'll take that and convert them to this modern use enroll once, use anywhere experience, and then you can throw away the password.
Got
So
it.
there's a way to migrate existing users. And when you need to, you could, of course, put them through an identity verification process. So that's typically for new hires or just if you want to test the authenticity of a person for whatever the reason would be.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So this is, I understand this is a FIDO compliant key. Is that correct?
The authentication is FIDO. So the big news in FIDO in the last year or two has been passkeys. They've rebranded the whole FIDO experience as passkeys. And now there's roaming passkeys versus device bound, right? And so think about this as a roaming passkey that works anywhere in the organization only. So one of the challenges with roaming passkeys out in the consumer world is my passkey can roam anywhere that my Apple ID is used or my 1Password account. Of course, we wouldn't want that for the enterprise. Or you wouldn't want to share your passkey with another employee or a family member. So this is a controlled roaming FIDO authenticator that works anywhere inside the organization.
Okay. All right. And can you just run through again the differences? Like, how is this different than the existing keys? We know it's got a biometric reader on it, but aside from that.
Yeah, exactly. So again, let's call out one very well-known and reliable product like a YubiKey or Fedian, right? There's a couple of them out on the internet. Again, those are given to you and they're linked to you. So you can't, if you lose it, you're in trouble. And there's a lot more cost to that model. So imagine if you had a call center, they're transient workers. If you had to give every one of them a hardware device that's linked to them, first of all, you have a management nightmare. So enroll once, use then, on as long as they have that key, they can use it.
Right.
But it's also based on username, password, and then those legacy devices would do their thing. So they're typically MFA only. Ours is a single touch experience bound to the user that they can just basically tap their thumb or finger on any device and they're logged in. Highly trusted, highly secure. So there's quite a number of benefits to this model.
Okay. And it's up to 10 fingerprints per user.
Yeah, it's really unlimited, but you'll probably run out after 10.
So if you cut your finger or you've got a bandit on it, or maybe you broke your hand, I don't know, then you can use your other digits. That's the point.
Exactly.
And it's interoperable. You take this from machine to machine?
You could, yeah. So these are call them almost disposable. They are linked to the organization. So you
Right.
couldn't just go grab one off the internet, plug it into your company device and use it. there is, it's linked to the organization, and this acts as an encryption, as a privacy device that can then work with the user's biometrics in a safe way and allow login into Mac or Windows.
Okay, great. All right, so passwordless biometric authentication, we no longer need a mobile device. Any restricted, so, you manufacturing workers, you call center workers, anywhere where phones aren't allowed, maybe, California, sometimes, you can't require people to use a mobile phone, right? So, I guess any of those environments, the 1Key is for them.
Exactly. You nailed it.
All right. This is very cool. Appreciate your time, Mike. This is a very exciting, one of many very exciting developments that we have here at 1Kosmos. So thanks for taking time today.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you soon.